Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to an airbrushing step-by-step. Today's video we are doing Feeling Ducky, which is a Daffy Duck piece of artwork. Here's some of the products we are using in today's video. So they're the products we're using in today's video, guys. I've got them here. We've got the application tape. I've left a link in the description to the application tape. It'll either be a low tack or a medium tack. It doesn't really say in that link, but they'll be working perfect, guys. Don't worry about the tackiness of it. This is a low to medium tack, this one, but works absolutely fine. Paints, we've got the Wicked. We're mixing with isopropyl. You've seen at the beginning part of that clip. A nice thin mix. We're going really thin on this with low air pressure, so we're going to build the layers up. So we've got the Wicked, and I've mixed that up in a little pot, so it's very, as you can see, it's very thinned out, that is, with the isopropyl. And I've also got the FW inks. I've got my own little bottle mixed up, which is the isopropyl and water. If I need to thin it down a bit more, we can do as we go along, and that's what I said in that little clip. Paint mixes may change, because I might have a go in a minute on the side and think, yeah, I need to add a little bit more. So the first thing I've done off camera is sort of project my artwork up. So I've got a projector, set the distance up to the A3, projected it up, and then I put one piece of application tape across like that, stuck it to the paper, and then penciled Daffy Duck onto the application tape. Peeled that off whilst leaving the projector set up, so it's at the same distance, same images still on the actual piece of paper. I've pulled the application tape off, put that to one side, and then cut round the image. So I've got all the outer is like a mask now, and then on the inner, with leaving the projector set up and running, I've just penciled the inner details in. So all the other pieces are there, so I've got a nice reference to follow looking across at the tablet. So nice and easy. You're not going to make it hard. The reason why I'm doing this outer mask is to keep the white paper clean and to keep the image really nice and sharp. So when you spray up to this and pull the masking tape away, it keeps your image really, really sharp. So this is how you'll get a sharp image. If you wanted to do this on a gas tank, you could get this really sharp and looking crisp, because a lot of cartoon artwork is very sort of outlined. There won't be a black outline. On cartoon artwork, you see a lot of black outlines, everything's outlined. This won't be sort of outlined. You'll have your soft edges still, but it'll be sharp. Everything will be sharp on it, which will make it sort of pop a little bit better. So we've got the paint mix sorted. Brush I'm really liking this at the minute, is the Dred Infinity CR Plus on a 02. Now the reason why I like this brush is it's easy to flush through and clean, very easy. If you get any stubborn paint in it, you can just take the front off, push a pipe cleaner, a little pipe cleaner down the nozzle, the floating nozzle, blow it through, stick it back in, put it back together quick. It just makes your painting life easier when you've got a brush that you can just quickly get on with, interchange your paints with, no dramas. The only thing I've done to the Dred that's different is I've changed the trigger, because I don't like the Dred trigger. I prefer the Evo 2024 trigger. Sits really nice in this brush, and it makes it silky smooth with the Evo trigger, and it really does change this brush up. You've got a shorter front end on this Infinity as well, so it brings you that little bit closer to your work. Spring tensioner on this is nice as well. You can set your tension here. So I've set that just right, so I get that nice feel in the trigger when I'm moving it. So the brush is set up. It was just basically, I'd left painting this and it was dirty. So I literally just pulled the needle out, pinched it on a piece of kitchen towel with some thinners on it, cleaned through, load of thinners in the front, blast through, blast the nozzle through, put back together. And that's the beauty of an Airbrush steamer. It's just quick to get it up, running, bang for your next piece of artwork. You've not got to get any little spanners out and start undoing stuff, and that's just a pain in the arse. So brush, 10 psi, nice and low. I will move you in closer and we're going to start this portrait. And I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing as we go along. We've got an eraser as well. Now the reason why I'm using an eraser, not for textures or anything fancy, when we come to move this mask in, there might be some lines that are just slightly overshadowed where I've placed it back on. Because sometimes when you cut out a piece of like this and it's not a solid piece, you've got like all bits that are sort of you can move around because it's not one solid square and you've just got an inner tuck out. You put it on and you can slightly overlap the lines. So if there's any lines left over when we've finished, I can just go in with the eraser and just knock the pencil lines out. Wherever they're sitting, I can just erase them out. So nice and straightforward, guys. Nice one for beginners to have a go on. It's not a hard piece of artwork once we break it down, and I'll show you how you break it down, and we'll just do a little stage at a time. We'll move around this nice and slow, take us time, and I'll talk you through as much as I can. So let's crack on with feeling ducky. Right guys, first thing we're going to do is drop a little bit of water in the brush and set your pressure up. So I've got 20 psi on the main line and I'm dialing mine in on the Mac valve bit here. So just bringing that down a bit and then just blast through a little bit of water and just see how your spray pattern's doing before you go and commit to chucking your paint in. Now this paint mix I've got here is very thin. So piece of paper to the side of you before you commit on your artwork. Now you can see, I can drop this pressure down now. You can see how thin that is. Now there was some comments on the Wicked that I'm using. Now the one I've got is, if that's picking that up, I hope it is that one there. Hopefully that's picking that up. It's the version 2, I believe, of the Wicked colours. So this thins down really nice, straight isopropyl straight in. I mean, as you can see how fine this brush can get down with this mix. Really low pressure, and you can just build the layers up to a dark. You can see how dark that's going now, and you can work this like a transparent. So light to dark, and that's what we want to do. We want to build these tones up, sort of light to dark. So drop a little bit more paint in this, because we're going to be working this tone. And we're going to start off, we will start off on this arm here. We're going to get this in, and the cigarette that he's got. So I'm just going to drop a tone in. I'll put the image up to the side of the screen so you can see where I'm working. But I'm just going to go in nice and light and just start dropping a tone in on this arm. I've got some shields as well. So if we want to just go in and shield a bit off, like that bit of the cigarette there, we can. And that's the beauty of working low pressure, thin paint mix. Let me take the crown cap off as well. Just holding the shield up. The reason why I'm holding this up here, I'm just blocking off that cigarette there. So I can spray away from that shield. And just keep that cigarette part nice, and because it's brighter. At the end of the day, it'll be like a white paper. So you're just holding the shield up and spraying away from it. Like that, and that keeps that nice and clean. This is the beauty of the application tape. You've not got to worry about getting overspray because all your outer is protected. So just on and off the trigger, very light dagger strokes on this. Just looking at the reference. And you're not going dark too quick, you're going light. So you can build these up. So nice and light. And if you need it darker, just go back over the top and do another pass over it and just build it up nice and light. Using the shields, if you want to sharpen an edge up, you can just go against the shield and sharpen it up like that. It's really nice to work low pressure and with a thin paint mix. I think you'll home in on your trigger control a lot easier running thin paint and low pressure. You just got that little bit more control than blasting really high pressure. Coming down the arm. And just concentrate on a bit at a time like that. That's all we're concentrating on is that piece. Don't worry about any of this. You're just concentrating on that first piece. And hold the shield up here because I want to keep the t-shirt clean. Around there. And the H&S's, especially the Infinities, run so nice on low pressure. They really do, and they atomise so well. Another reason why I picked this today, you'll notice this with your brush, the thinner the paint you go, the more responsive that trigger will feel. It really does. Because you're pulling back a lot less because the paint's a lot thinner. So the minimal part of that movement and that needle going back, that paint's there. I'll just block the top of the beak off because we're coming up here. Like that. There's a little bit underneath. Like that. So a nice simple one. Either side the cigarette nice and light, just backing off slightly. I'm about an inch, 2 inches away. Front of the cigarette will just do some little tiny little dots and do a little bit of a texture on there. Like that. Working round. Darken that piece out there. Right, inside this piece of the t-shirt, I'm just going to do a little pass like that, shield it. When you work a section at a time like this, it just makes it easier. because you can get overwhelmed by looking at the whole piece of artwork. You think, oh, am I going to do that? Am I going to do that? You just concentrate on a bit at a time. Do that bit, move down, do that bit. Paint the shape, that's all you've got to do. Just makes it a lot easier. A little bit more on this piece here. Like that, and just do a little pass over there. Like that. We're going to just sharpen up this edge here. It's just going back over and just darkening bits up. Nice and light, minimal trigger. And just building it up, building it up and building it up. That's all we've got to do. Right, the t-shirt, down here, we've got like an edge here that just needs to be shielded off. So we're just going to bring that shield in just slightly and work from that bottom. Really light on the paint. You've not got to blast it, you're just going really light. There'll be some lines that we've got to erase out, but it doesn't matter. Take that down there a bit. I've actually got a line that I didn't put in. Tiny little line here. A little bit down this side of the t-shirt, just down here. Underneath this side, now we've got to shield off again. A little edge here. This is basically just a white highlight that I'm just shielding off here. There's one here as well. A little bit underneath, dark crease there. And then the side of the t-shirt. Nice pass. Down there. A little bit darker on this one here. Just nice and light. So we've got that piece in. We've got these lines here. You can see a line, there's a line here. That's got to be erased out. So you can just go over that. Get rid of it. And then you can just drop it. If you want to drop a little bit more paint in, you can. I've got a crease line here, so I'm just going to go in really lightly. Just darken that up. Like that, and just darken that crease up in there. I'm going to go a little bit darker under the side of this t-shirt as well down here. So that's that. We'll move on to the beak. So the bottom part of the beak, just drop a tone in. This comes round, so just get the tone in. Backing off, I'm around 2 inches, 2.5 inches away. We've got a line here, and drop that in. Just roll that round there, a little bit over this. Drop a tone in, underneath the eye, because that comes up and over. Bit in here, under here. Just keep it nice and light. Beauty of this paint, this Wicked mixed with the isopropyl. I don't think you'll get a softer paint mixing it that way. That really goes down and atomises so fine. It really does. If you want soft shading, it's a brilliant paint mix to use. It really is. I've not used any other paint that's like, that atomises as well as this with the isopropyl. Really does work nice. Bit under there, a bit more. Nice and light, you're just following the shading. If you go really light and back off, you can just put minimal down and literally work it where you need it. Just keep your eye on the reference. I'm just doing little dagger strokes. Just going to shield that and make that a little bit darker there. Like that. And then we can shield that piece off and work up here. Just going to work a little bit nice and light, working at the side up here. I'm not worried about going into that hat because that is a darker tone there anyway, but try and keep it just sort of inside. I'm literally going to just work some tones in now. Light dagger strokes, minimal paint. Shield that off. Just build the tones up. Just keep your eye on the reference. That's all you've got to do. Shield that eye off because I want that quite white. Like that. A little bit here. Minimal paint, and this brush just does it effortlessly. It really does with a thin mix. We'll get rid of the pencil lines in a minute. Minimal trigger, just drop them eyes in with ease with this brush. Like that. We can go darker on this. Just building the tones up. This will go a lot darker. Like that. Got the part of the hat here, and it sort of goes light to dark there. So you're just going to back off to get your light shade. bring it in, take it up to the top of the cap like that, just dagger strokes following the shape. You can just build that up, you can shield this side off. Nice and light. Like that. And we can start working this hat. Now I've got a staggered line on this hat. So I'm just going to rub that one out. I'll just drop these lines in. Like that. Don't worry if you miss your lines, because you can go in and you can just erase them out. It's not a problem. It's like I've got some here. They just need to come out a bit. Right, just do a little roll on this hat here. Nice and light. Same here. A little bit at the back. Just puffing the paint nice and light, backing off. A little bit at the top. That can go dark. Like that. A bit darker here. I'm going to go a lot darker under this lip here. We're out of paint. So you can see it coming together. It's test your brush, and you just know this mix straight in, bang, you're off again. No dramas. Dark around here. Just a little bit more in here. At the front there. Bit of the neck. So when you break the image down like this, it makes it so much easier to get along with. It really does. You're not going to stress. Just darken that little crease off underneath his. Like that. A little bit dark around here, get that more of a roll. So it looks a little bit more like that. Bring a little bit more there, a bit more around here. I can start darkening these bits off. Going in, just going back over where I've been, because where I can see it being darker, we're just going darker. And this is the beauty of building it up instead of trying to go dark straight away too quick. Now I was going to use a black on there. I think the only black that I'm going to use is the Posca paint pen. So if you have mixed the FW, just save it in a pot, because I'm liking this tone that we're working at the minute, and we can just keep going over and darkening this up with this paint. It's not an issue. So we've got that bit in. That's in. We've got this bit now to do. This little bit here. And then we'll be done. It's sort of like really quick. So a nice quick one. Just going to sharpen that line up there. Pop that line out a little bit more there. Back over on the eyes. Just line them out. So nice to work with this paint, and this is the mix that I've been using to do them micro portraits, because it just flows really, really well. And I've just noticed just a bit of tip dry, so we've worked all that, and that's the first time I've got tip dry on it, so it's running really well with this paint. So moving over this side, I'm going to shield off the t-shirt, drop a bit of paint in, like that. We'll shield off, got another shield here, we can shield off the bag of money and just come up around that. Like that. On the fingers, just going to drop a pass in. Coming round. Just get some paint in there. These little bits where the money goes, just literally going nice and light, nice and easy, because we're going to go over again in a minute and we're going to sharpen things up, so not an issue. Shield the bag off again because you want to darken that up, like that. Around the fingers again, just do another pass. Where you need it dark, just go darker. The beauty of working low PSI, guys, you just got more control to put that paint where you want. You've got less overspray. You can just work it. Getting these little crease lines in. that. And now we've got the bag. We've got the bag and we've got the little bit of the chain sort of there that he's got on. And then we can go over again. If there's any darks we need, we can do that. So on the bag, it's sort of rounded off. So you're going to back off. Just look at your reference. Just keep an eye on your paint as you see it go down. Just keep an eye and see how dark it's going as you're puffing the paint in. That sort of comes round and does that. Up there like that. Gets dark around here, dark around the bottom. And just keep going over and over. Just build your layers up. A little bit more here, just see it being darker here, coming up in there. You're just creating that sort of round shape. Bring that in a bit more here. Like that. We're about there. And just keep an eye on and have a look at bits that need darkening off. And just start to darken bits off. Drop that little bit of chain in. A bit darker here and there. A bit more darker than the crease of the t-shirts. And here. Nice and light. Like that. The beauty of going light, guys, you just build it up to what you want. Some people would hit this bit here, just go wallop, too dark, too quick, and then there's not a lot you can do unless you're chucking white paint over it to try and lighten it up, and then it starts to look dirty and messy. I think we're about there. I might go with that. I'm going to go in with the eraser and just erase out the bits that I don't want. probably hit these better once it's demasked. Posca paint pen. You could do this with the airbrush, but I want this bit to be black on here. Like that. As I say, use all the tools in your box. If you need to use a pen, use a pen. If you need to use a pencil, just use it. Fill that in. So nice simple one to have a practice with. No, it's not going to be complicated. Now we could go in with the FW ink now and do a pass over the top on the darks and you just dust in the black and give it a two-tone look. You can do that if you wanted to do that, but I'm going to go with this colour here because it's just nice in this sort of tone, and then just this little separate little bit of black on here. Might just do the eyes in there. Black them out. Like that. We'll go back in with this tone on the... Just do a little bit extra on that. Back over, just start to just darken this back a bit now. Keep your eye on your masking with your application tape because it might just start to lift and pull back and just go around, just push your edges down. It'll just keep it nice and clean. I think that'll do. As I say, you've not got to go too mad on it, you know. Right, we'll do a little demask and then you'll see what I'm on about when you take the pieces off. If you've got any pencil lines that are sort of still there. And there is. We've got the little bit of a flame to do out the cigarette. We can do that freehand. You'll see where it's just slightly off located, and you can just go in and you can sharpen them up. Just get rid of them like that. Not a problem. Do a bit there. Down the arm, like that. I've got my little locating marks there. You can get rid of them. So we'll do a little bit of, I'll do my own style of smoke coming out of this. In fact, I'll get rid of these pencil lines first. Hello. And we can just go in and, if you want to line some bits out, you can just go in and just line some bits out if you need to line them out. Not a problem. Line that one out there. This is the beauty of the thin paint. You can just hit them real tight, tiny little lines when you want them. If this was 25 psi with a thick paint, you would not get this down like this because you just wouldn't have it. You really would be struggling to get these little details down. Like that. A little bit more shading around there. That's that. A little bit more on that cigarette. Like that. I think we're there. We've done it. We've got it down. Nice and quick, nice and easy. Just take your time. Just line that hat out a bit better. Job done. Nice straightforward, nice and sharp, clean. It's come out alright. Just taking your time like that, that little bit of masking around it, that's saved all, cleaned and sharpened up all your edges. And then you can just go in and just add. If you wanted to add highlights now with some white and just pop some highlights in, you can do that as well. And you can just keep working it, get it darker where you want it darker. Build it up. Nice and easy. So it's really, really nice paint to work with, this is. I mean, this is, it says it's black, but it doesn't look black. That's black to me. This is like a deep plum colour, but it says detail black on the bottle. But it's just such a nice tone, I think this is. And out of all the paints I've got, this is the best for spraying. Illustration's nice, but this mix of this Wicked with the isopropyl, I don't think you can get anything to touch it on how well it sprays at low pressure. And this is low. And it just, you can get ridiculously down with this, guys. I mean, hairlines just touching, literally you're touching the trigger, pressing it down, and it's just releasing the paint really well. So we're going to call that one done. Nice and easy. There you go, guys, nice and simple, nice and easy one for you to practice with. Bit of application tape makes the world of difference, it really does, if you want to keep your outer nice and clean. And then you can just literally go in and you can get rid of your pencil lines if there's any left over. Just knock them back like that and tidy your piece of artwork up nice and easy. And you could do this on like aluminium panel and work it the same way. Low pressure, you'll probably be bringing your pressure down a little bit more, taking your time a little bit softer, and it'll take you a little bit time than working on paper, because paper's a little bit more absorbent. When you spray on it, it sort of soaks in. But it's down to like the image we're looking at, so it's nice and easy. And it's a lot less stressful if you do a section at a time like we did. We worked that piece in. Then we moved across, t-shirt, we moved up and started dropping this piece in. Moved up, do that bit, and that bit. Actually, you can get overwhelmed looking at the whole picture. Break it up and drop it into little sections and work your way along. So, I hope you enjoyed the video and learnt something along the way. Low pressure, really recommend it. Thin paints, you'll really start to dial in and get your control. You'll feel that little bit more control when you're working on paper. I think that's really good, because 25 psi with your sort of out the bottle airbrush paints, it's quite fierce, and you're going to get a lot of overspray, and it's just hammering that paint down quick. But if you knock it right down, thin it, and then drop your pressure right down to 10, 9 or 8 psi around there, you'll just feel that instant control where you can just touch that trigger and just puff that bit of paint out. And getting used to that and practicing that way, I think that will hold you in better stead when you come to work onto, you're going across this sort of style, moving over to automotive where you've got smoother surfaces, because it's a different ball game. You can spray on a smooth surface, it can just go poof and go everywhere if you're running high pressure. So just come in straight, dial down, and just start building your artwork up. Build the layers up. Don't go too dark too quick. All beginners want to see it bang, they want to see it quick, they want to see everything done quickly. I was the same when I started out. You just hammer the paints down and think, oh no, I've gone too far, and then you've gone too dark, so then you instantly hit it with white to lighten it up. Then you go back in again and you're just creating this muddy and muddier and muddier image, and it just looks horrendous. And then you end up pulling it off the easel, screwing it up in a ball and throwing it away and walking out your studio or wherever you're painting frustrated. So just going really light. So low pressure, thin paint, can't go wrong. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.